Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Scott Murray, and I'm the superintendent of Ector County Independent School District. And I would like to welcome you to this edition of ECISD Live. It's been a while, and we are really glad to be back with you. Tonight's focus is Bond 2023. We're going to walk through a presentation, give you as much information as we possibly can tonight about the upcoming bond referendum. And then, of course, address your questions. And so I encourage you tonight as we go through the presentation to put those questions in chat. And at the end, we'll be responding to any and all of the questions that you may have tonight. Before we get started, however, I would like to share with all of you a pretty exciting announcement that we made today. If you've already watched your local news or read the local news, perhaps on social media, you may already be aware. But if you are not, today ECISD announced that we are the recipient of a $9 million grant from the Federal Department of Education that will provide some really great opportunities for 10 schools in ECISD. These dollars are going to be used to invest in our teachers and our leaders at the campus level. Will provide additional compensation to the most effective teachers and the most effective leaders on those campuses. We'll also provide some professional development, specifically in the areas of reading and mathematics for the teachers and leaders that support kids on each of those campuses. So we are excited to receive this grant. I will say the grant really is because of the investments that we've made over the last 4 years and the successes that we've had. We're a part of the teacher incentive allotment, which provides compensation for our most effective teachers, opportunity culture, in which we've redesigned the traditional role of teachers, ensuring that more of our students have access to our most effective teachers. The principal incentive allotment, which we have designed and exclusive to Ector County Independent School District in this first year, targeting our most effective principals in ECISD, a host of other pipelines. We've done a lot of work over the last 4 years, and the success of that body of work really helped us propel into success in this particular grant opportunity. This was a highly competitive grant. 29 different educational institutions received the grant across the nation, and so we are incredibly fortunate to be among that group of 29. But once again, a $9 million investment into the human capital work in ECISD. Excited to bring that opportunity to this community. All right, we are going to spend the rest of our time together talking about the bond. We have an upcoming bond proposal that will be on the ballot in November, and we'd like to spend a little bit of time with you, educating you on that process. We've got a slideshow that we're going to bring up tonight, and so it will some of this will be in writing, and then some of it we'll talk through. We also have, if you notice on your screen in the top corner, a QR code, and so that QR code will take you to the Ector County Independent School District website, specifically the bond portion of our website, which will contain all of the information that we'll discuss tonight and more. There is a lot of information to learn and to share about the bond. And again, you can find that by using that QR code to access the district website. If you don't want to or not able to use the QR code, you may simply access the website at www.ectorcountyisd.org. Once you get to our main page, you can click on a button at the top that says Bond 2023, and that will take you to all of the information about this particular bond proposal. So with that, let's kind of jump in to the bond. And one more thing, if you do have questions, you can see that on your screen, but questions, you can put your questions in the chat area. You may also put questions, you may also email those to the district. But tonight, we'd really like for you to use chat, whether you are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X. Any of those platforms allow you to use the chat feature and submit those questions. Again, we'll be responding to those questions as we walk through this tonight. So a few years ago, the ECISD Board of Trustees recognized that the school district had some specific facility needs. Last year, they gathered together a group of individuals, 130 individuals to be specific. They were made up of a staff member from every school in the district, a parent from every school in the district, a host of community leaders that represented all aspects of Ector County, and then some other central office experts that provided content expertise in the fine and performing arts, in athletics, in JROTC, et cetera, a variety of those areas. That group of 130 folks gathered together. They spent about 5 months together, had 7 different meetings. They analyzed a variety of different data sources to make sure that they truly understood the problem. They looked at everything from our demographic study to a facility condition study to understand the exact condition of our buildings. But a host of data were reviewed by this committee. And then this past June, the committee brought a recommendation to our Board of Trustees. During the month of June, the Board of Trustees received that recommendation. The board spent the summer analyzing that recommendation. And then in August, the Board of Trustees voted to call an election, that bond election. And so that's the piece that we are talking about tonight. And so what is in this particular bond package? And so if we can bring up the slide deck, there we go. There we go. You can see that the bond package has 3 different propositions. Proposition A, you can see in purple, is the largest proposition that we have. And then Proposition B is the second largest at a little over $8 million. And then Proposition 3, a little over $3.7 million. Those propositions together make up the full breadth of the bond. It is a little over $436 million. So we're going to jump into each of these propositions so that you can know exactly the different items that are contained within the proposition. So as I said, Proposition A, again, the largest proposition. It addresses many of our aging facilities. Many of you may be aware that half of our buildings are 61 years of age or older, with our oldest building being 85 years of age. And once you begin to age, if you are like me, you spend a little bit more time at the doctor because our body needs a bit more attention. Well, our schools, as they age, they also need some more attention. And so much of Proposition A will pay attention to the condition of our facilities, replacing HVA or air conditioning systems, replacing electrical systems, plumbing systems, fire alarm systems, et cetera, a variety of things in that particular area. And then equipment and buses. So a variety of equipment that we'll walk through is in Proposition A. And then, of course, addressing some of our transportation needs. So quite a bit in Proposition A. A few things to draw your attention to specifically. The first item that you'll see is an investment in a new career and technical education facility, as well as our agricultural farm. The CTE Center itself will pull career and technical education programming from 7 current locations. Currently, our students are bused to 7 different sites to take their career and technical education courses. We will be able to take all of that and put it together in one facility. As you can see by the image, the facility will be designed to take care of many of the career and technical education courses that require kids to have access to specialized equipment or specialized spaces, such as auto mechanics. In this particular rendering, you can see that we would provide an auto mechanic facility for our students to use. In addition to that, welding bays. We have a large number of students that are interested in welding to be in their career and technical education pathways. And so welding would be a component of that. Culinary arts, and again, a variety of opportunities. The school itself would serve about 2,400 students every single day. 400 students would call it home, as it would be their regular high school. They would have all of their courses every single day at the facility. And then 2,000 students would be transported in and out of that space. Those students would come from Permian High School, Odessa High School, and New Tech High School. We would provide buses, as we currently do today, and then transport those students in and out of that facility so they could take their career and education courses. Some other interesting pieces. We are doing this in partnership with Odessa College. So during the day, Monday through Friday from 8 to 3, the school district will use that space to educate our students. However, at night and on the weekends, Odessa College will have access to that space and use it for upskilling and reskilling purposes. So the adult members of our community, not only in Ector County, but potentially other areas of our community would be educated by the team at Odessa College, again, for upskilling and reskilling purposes. And so it would indeed be a multi-use facility, not only used by Ector County Independent School District, but by Odessa College as well. Once that facility opens, we would then create a new middle school opportunity at the existing New Tech Odessa. Because we would be moving many of, or really all of the career and technical education programming from New Tech Odessa, we will be backfilling it with a new middle school opportunity. And so New Tech Odessa would become a 6th through 12th grade opportunity for a choice opportunity for middle school students and high school students in our community. So that is an interesting piece to know as well. We'd also like to announce a couple of contributions that have been made to this particular facility. Early on, the Permian Strategic Partnership has committed a large sum of money to help us ensure that the career and technical education facility will meet the needs of not only today's workforce, but tomorrow's workforce as well. So we are very excited about that announcement from the Permian Strategic Partnership. In addition, an announcement was made just last week that we now have a location for this facility. The organization called Grow Odessa has generously donated almost 38 acres of property that will house the new career and technical education facility. That property is located in the southern portion of Ector County. So again, we're incredibly appreciative to Grow Odessa for making that contribution to ECISD. That will allow us to free up the money in the bond that we had allocated for property, can then be used to reinvest in the facility itself, ensuring that it is truly a facility that will meet the needs of kids, not only today, but for many years to come. All right, so that is the CTE facility. In addition, you see the ag farm as well. We'll be renovating and replacing many of the buildings at the ag farm. On these pictures, you can see that our agricultural farm, which is used by many of our horticulture students as well as our ag students, that facility is rather old and in need of significant repair. And so we'll be replacing all of the buildings that you've seen, that you see on the screen, with new state-of-the-art facilities for the students within the program to be able to utilize. So again, all of that investment is for career and technical education in ECISD, a program in which over 10,000 of our students currently are engaged. In addition, still a part of Proposition A is a new middle school. This middle school will house approximately 1,000 students, will be located in West Ector County. Again, we have already made a decision as to the exact location. You can see at the bottom of your screen that we are in the process of purchasing approximately 40 acres of property on South Tripp Avenue. That property is currently under contract for purchase by the district. We're excited to be able to put this school in that location, and excited for indeed what it would mean for the folks in West Ector County. So again, a comprehensive middle school serving about 1,000 students. Those students would come from the western part of Ector County. So that's another item in Proposition A. Continuing with Proposition A, as I mentioned earlier, a variety of different building enhancements and repairs. You can see things such as electrical systems, plumbing systems, HVAC systems, fire alarm, HVAC, again, meaning heating and air conditioning systems, fire alarm systems, roof replacements, and then ADA compliance. So we have a variety of handicapped students and adults as well, and we want to make sure that all of our facilities are accessible by our population that needs to have special access to those facilities. And so we will utilize these dollars to really outfit and refit, in many cases, every single school in ECISD. So every school will be touched by these maintenance items. Some schools will receive much larger investments in this area simply because of the age of that particular facility. All right. There'll be technology upgrades, again, staying along with Proposition A. You can see a variety of things. Many of these things are safety-related technology upgrades. So will be a complete replacement of the district phone system, complete replacement of our digital cameras. We have thousands of digital cameras that monitor every building that we own, and so we'll be replacing those. replacing fire alarm systems that are no longer functional and in need of repair. The PA bell system will be replaced in many of our schools. So again, a lot of technology investments that are a part of Proposition A that are critical to the safety of our students. In addition, still within Proposition A, a new transition learning center. This particular center will take care of our special education students that are transitioning between high school and the world of work. We serve students in this current location between the ages of 18 and 21. The facility that we're currently in was not designed for those students. And so there are some issues that those students and staff members deal with, and we'll be able to create a space for these kids that is unique to them and tailored to their specific needs. So again, a new transition learning center, part of Proposition A. Continuing with Proposition A, transportation is another big element of this proposition. So we'll be replacing a lot of the school buses with Proposition A, a little over $2 million, about $2.5 million worth of transportation needs. Our buses travel approximately 2 million miles every school year, and that many miles puts a lot of wear and tear on our buses. Typically, a bus lasts between 12 and 15 years, and with our fleet of buses, we're constantly replacing them, and so the bond will help us do that. In addition, we are in need of a new transportation facility to make sure that we can appropriately care for our buses and make sure that they are well maintained so that they can last the test of time. And so that transportation is another big element of Proposition A. In addition, Proposition A also includes investments in fine arts, everything from a complete renovation of the Permian High School auditorium to replacing instruments. We have instruments between 15 and 30 years of age that are now in need of replacing. So we'll be doing that from elementary, middle, high school as well. Middle school risers for our choral programs at the middle school uniforms for band and mariachi, and then investments in our junior ROTC program as well, which is currently located at Permian High School and Odessa High School. That's a pretty important program for the students that are engaged, and so we'll be making sure that those students have access to the right types of facilities and equipment that they need to be successful within that program. In addition, we have investments in athletics as a part of Proposition A. You can see a lot of lighting on several of our campuses, including Permian High School and Odessa High School, be lighting the baseball fields, which currently do not have lighting in each of those areas, and then some other athletic enhancements on those particular locations. So quite a few different investments in athletics and fine arts that are a part of Proposition A. Whew, there's a lot in Proposition A. So once again, I'll point out the QR code on your screen. If you're interested in learning very specifically all of the details, that QR code will take you to the district website, and you can have access to all of that information in great detail, including if you're curious as to what's going to happen at my school in particular, you can find that information out on the website. Again, the QR code will take you there, or visit www.ectorcountyisd.org. All right, off to Proposition B. Proposition B, we call the Ratliff Stadium proposition because every element of this proposition relates to Ratliff Stadium. One question that we're often asked is, why does this have to be a separate proposition? Well, several years ago, the state legislature passed some very specific laws which said that certain types of bond elements must be separated from the primary bond. And as you can see, our primary bond is in Proposition A. Proposition B is the Ratliff Stadium proposition. And the Ratliff Stadium complex does not reside on an academic campus. And so there isn't a school at Ratliff Stadium. And the law says that element must be in a separate bond package, hence Proposition B. So Proposition B contains multiple items, again, all focused on that particular area. It's a little over $8 million. You can see that one of the primary investments that we'll make is in the stadium itself. The stadium is over 40 years of age. It's beginning to crack, and we want to make sure that it lasts for another 40 years. And so we will be putting a concrete overlay on top of that stadium to make sure that we take care of the cracking and, again, ensure that it stands the test of time. We also, if you've been to Friday Night Lights, you know that while the stadium is really well lit, The parking lot isn't. It's a Friday night darkness experience in the parking lot. And so for safety reasons, we want to make sure that we add lighting to the parking lot at Ratliff Stadium. And so the bond proposition will do that. In addition, we have some other fields out there that currently do not have LED lighting. And so we'll be adding lighting to those fields and then adding some turf as well. So a comprehensive investment in the Ratliff Stadium complex. Again, that is Proposition B, and the cost of that is a little over $8 million. And then the final proposition is Proposition C. Once again, this has to be a separate proposition. The law in Texas says that when you are on an academic campus, if you are building a facility that is not academic in nature and the roof line does not touch an academic building, it has to be a separate item. And so if you'll notice Proposition C, it targets Permian High School and Odessa High School. And the facilities that we're looking at do not touch the roof line of an academic building. Therefore, it has to be a separate proposition. So Proposition C includes indoor training facility at Odessa High School because they do not currently have one. And then at Permian High School, they do have an indoor training facility. And so we will replace the turf. That turf is currently 17 years old. And so we will replace the turf at Permian and then create a facility for the students at Odessa High School that currently do not have that particular facility. Total cost of that would be a little over $3.7 million. And that is Proposition C. Here you can see what an indoor facility looks like. Again, the turf is what we would be replacing at Permian, and then adding the facility would be what we would do at Odessa High School, again, because they do not have that facility today. All right, and there you see the Permian High School turf that would be replaced. All right. Now, some other elements of the bond that I think are important to say. First of all, there is no tax rate increase in this particular bond. Our trustees have made some really smart choices over the last 4 years, been really financially prudent. Much like you and I in our own homes, we might make early payments on our mortgage to save us a little bit of money down the road. Our trustees have been doing that. They've been making some early payments on our bond, and that has allowed us to have some capacity to take on more debt without having to raise the amount of money that we're currently paying. In fact, the trustees did one thing bigger. They actually lowered our tax rate. You can see on the screen that not only is there no tax rate increase, but they actually lowered it by 16 cents during the month of September. And so we can all be pretty excited about the fact that we will be paying less in taxes because of the decision of the Board of Trustees. So we're appreciative of that, but that rate of $1.01 will not change due to the passage of the bond referendum. There will be no tax rate increase. And so that's kind of good news for taxpayers in our community. In addition to that, hey, if you are 65 years of age or older, we've actually got two bits of good news. The first one is on the screen. Not only do your tax rate not increase, but the actual dollar amount that you pay on your homestead will not increase either. And so once you hit 65 in the state of Texas, your homestead taxes are frozen. And unless you make a renovation on your home, then your taxes on your homestead are frozen in perpetuity. And so for those 65 and over, that's really great news. No matter what happens within a bond referendum within your community, your tax, not only does your tax rate not go up, but the actual dollar amount that you pay doesn't change as well. So that's the first bit of good news for the 65 and over crowd. The second bit of good news really has nothing to do with the bond, but it's a decision that we made recently that I think is important to share. And so we recently announced what we're calling the golden ticket. And so any resident of Ector County that is 65 years of age or older now has access free of charge to a golden ticket. Well, what does a golden ticket do? Well, a golden ticket in ECISD gets you into any athletic event free of charge. And so our 65-year and older crowd never has to pay for admission to an athletic event ever again. we will provide those tickets for you, whether that's a football game, a basketball game, a volleyball game, baseball game, softball game, whatever the game may happen to be. You now have free admission to those games. But in order to have that, you've got to have that ticket. And so those tickets, those golden tickets, are now available. You can visit the school district website, www.ectorcountyisd.org, to find out more information about the golden ticket, or you can simply call our athletic office and they can give you all the information that you need. So once again, if you are 65 years of age or older and you are a resident of Ector County, you qualify for a free golden ticket, which grants you access to every athletic event that we host in ECISD. So thank you, 65 and over crowd, for the work that you do in our community to make it such a great place to live. All right, back to the bond. Voting. It is almost time to vote. In fact, today is the 19th of October. Early voting begins on the 23rd of October. On the graph on your screen, you can see Monday, October 23rd is the first day for early voting. Begins at 8 o'clock in the morning and ends at 5. You can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So all next week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There now are 3 locations, one in the east, one in the central, one in the west. You can see those locations for early voting listed at the bottom of your screen. And so no matter where you live in Ector County, you now have easy access to one of those early voting locations. I encourage you to take advantage of early voting. The primary reason is because there is rarely a line. If you want to quickly vote and exercise your right to do that, early voting is the way to do that because of the lack of lines. Moving on to week 2, you can see on Monday, the 30th, the hours are 8 to 5, but notice what happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those hours are expanded from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so if you are working all day, you now have an opportunity to vote before you go to work or when you get off work at the end of the day. And so we appreciate the elections office really for doing 2 things. One is expanding the hours for early voting, and then 2, expanding the locations for early voting to make the voting process more convenient for registered voters in Ector County. And then finally, election day itself is Tuesday, November the 7th. Once again, locations will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and there will be many locations throughout Ector County. We will make sure we provide that information for you in the future. But right now, really pay attention to early voting. Take advantage of that opportunity to let your voice be heard and do it early so that you don't have to wait in line on election day. All right. That's a lot of information and a little bit of time. So if you're curious as to more information, again, that is on the ECISD website. You see that website listed on your screen. You may also connect with us on social media. We are very active on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram. I think that's the other one. I missed one. My folks will correct me. Facebook, LinkedIn, that's it. I'm sorry. So YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Those are the 4 platforms that we're providing a lot of information about the bond. If you have any questions, you can use any one of those platforms to ask a question of us. You may also visit the ECISD website. Not only can you ask a question there, but we already have a frequently asked question document. So if you're interested in receiving maybe learning about some questions that others have asked and you're interested in those answers, you can visit that frequently asked questions site. So we do have let me respond to a couple that I've seen. Will taxes be raised in the years beyond 2025 to pay for this? And so we do not have to, and I'll say this again, we do not have to raise the tax rate in order to pay for this bond. And so the answer to the question is no, the tax rate does not have to go up to pay for this bond. The current tax rate is enough to pay for this bond for the next 30 years, or however long it may be that we sell the bonds. Sometimes, and those of you that are in the bond market, you know that sometimes you could do a 5-year bond, a 10-year, 15, 20, 25, 30, even longer if you desire. We hope to do 20 to 25-year bonds for the majority of the items, but the current tax rate is sufficient to fully pay for this bond. All right. Again, if you have other questions, you may enter those questions in the chat area, Facebook, on X, formerly known as Twitter, on LinkedIn, or on YouTube. All four of those mediums have chat features. Feel free to submit your questions. We'll spend a final few minutes answering anyone's questions. I also encourage you, once again, the district website, www.ectorcountyisd.org, has a lot of information. Click on the Bond 2023 link. That will take you to all of the information that we have about the bond is featured right there, as well as the committee. You could learn about the process the committee used. You could also analyze for yourself the data that the committee used in order to create the bond package that we currently have. And we have a frequently asked questions. So there may be questions that you're thinking about, but perhaps you're not ready to submit that question. We've had a lot of people already asking a lot of questions, and you are welcome to visit our frequently asked question site. The QR code is on the screen. So one final time, if you can simply point your camera at that, that'll take you directly to the bond website, or type in our web address, www.ectorcountyisd.org, and click on the Bond 2023 link. Final words for me. One, thank you for your attention tonight, and please go vote. Again, early voting starts next week on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The next week, that Monday is from 8 to 5, but starting Tuesday of the following week, early voting starts at 7 a.m. and goes to 7 p.m. those final 4 days. So take advantage of that opportunity over the next 2 weeks to early vote. If you can't make it out, then we hope to see you on Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 7th. Polls will be open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. This is your opportunity to let your voice be heard. And as an organization and as a superintendent, we really encourage you to exercise your right as a citizen of this country and to vote, and then you go do that. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your attention and appreciate the support that you provide to Ector County Independent School District. Thank you again, and have a good night.